Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. My name is Mark Pulido, former mayor of the city of Cerritos in Los Angeles County. And I'm so absolutely thrilled to join my sister and co-MC Genevieve Jopanda in welcoming you all to a community celebration in honor of our brother, Rob Bonta, who is our new Attorney General. Rob and I got to know each other when we were both newly elected members of the City Council in Alameda and Cerritos over a decade ago. I was working for the state legislature at the time, and Rob reached out for my support for his state assembly campaign all the way down here in Southern Cali. And having helped on several assembly campaigns myself for Phil Am leaders like Jocelyn Gage Rosenthal back in the early 90s, and Sister Arlie Ricasa and Brother Christopher Cabaldon, I knew how important it was to support Brother Rob in his quest to make history and gain representation for our community in the state legislature. We shared our stories with each other, how we both came from families of leaders, organizers, and fighters, and how we both were moved and inspired by our beloved Manongs of the Farm Worker Union and movement, like Manong Larry Itleong, Manong Philip Veracruz, and Manong Pete Velasco. Since then, Rob has been my brother, because he is. He is my brother in love for our shared community, for our shared values, and most especially for our shared commitment to justice. That is why I believe he will be a phenomenal, transformative Attorney General for California and for all of our communities. And he will continue to serve as an inspiring role model for generations of organizers and activists to come. I'm humbled and honored to join you all in celebration of Brother Rob today. At this time, please join me in welcoming my sister and co-MC Genevieve Jopanda from San Francisco. Jen?
Mayong hapon sa inyo tanan in Ilonggo. Good evening, good afternoon. My name is Genevieve Jopanda, the co-MC, and such an honor to MC with my brother Mark Pulido at the request of Auntie Cynthia. So I received a text from Mark Pulido saying, hey, Emil de Guzman and Auntie Cynthia want you to co-MC. And I said, absolutely. I feel like I've received an award and it's an honor to, accept that request. I've known Rob probably since about 2007. As I recall, I met him when Dr. Jennifer Ong was starting the Filipino Democratic Club in Alameda County. And then I went on to start Kaya Filipino Americans for Progress, born from Filipinos for Obama in 2008. And I see some of my DC brothers and sisters who were there from the beginning. And we went on to support Rob with his Alameda City Council race and then his assembly race in 2012. So we go way back over a decade. So we both started, when we were young, probably 10, 12 years old. We're not that old. We started young in our career. But it's been amazing to not only help and support him and organize behind such a qualified, viable, committed candidate, but also to work with him around policy, around cannabis, and around supporting communities of color and marginalized communities. So it's just such an honor to put this together full circle today. And so thank you for joining us today. Next, I would like to introduce our singers for the national anthem. First, we have the Star Spangled Banner. Miss Robin de Guzman is a public health advocate and work encompassing air pollution, nutrition, exercise, and COVID-19 in Stockton, California. Previously, she was an adjunct professor of dance in the theater department at Marymount Manhattan College in New York, following her professional musical theater career and national tours, including Beauty and the Beast and Miss Saigon, and in work promoting Asian American performing artists through grant writing and after-school education. Robin is a proud alum of the Peralta Community College system, UC Irvine and Cal State Northridge, and currently resides in Alameda, California with her husband, Michael. Robin, go ahead and start us off the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Beautiful. Thank you, Sister Robin, for that. Next to sing the Filipino national anthem, Lupang Hinirang, is Israel Quezon, who is a 1.75 generation Phil-Am immigrant, a son of a resilient Filipino immigrant, a third-year transfer student at UC Berkeley, studying political science and public policy. He is passionate about community organizing, youth leadership development, as he is a product of one, and exploring the intersections of social justice, faith, and music. Please welcome Israel Quezon.
Thank you. And let's be in a posture of respect as we sing the Filipino national anthem. I invite you to place your right hand on your heart. Bayang maghiliw, peros ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw. May dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw niyang kailan pa may di magdidilim, lupa ng araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya ng palmay mang-aapi, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Thank you, Israel. Mark?
Thanks so much. And let's give another round of applause for our beautiful singers for their renditions of the national anthems. We really appreciate your talent and for being a part of this special occasion. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge some of the dignitaries who have joined us today. And I'm just gonna scroll through, and so bear with me. I know that we have with us former Congressman TJ Cox from the Central Valley. I see we have from the state of Hawaii, State Democratic Party Chairman Tyler Dos Santos Tam. I see the Honorable Henry Lowe from the San Gabriel Valley. Let's see here.
CSIG is that way. The guy with the red shirt.
If you could mute, please. Thank you. Thank you. See here. I see former Commissioner of City of Montebello, Abraham Lim, Supervisor Luis Alejo. Thank you for joining us. Former Lieutenant Governor Mona Pascal Rogers. Let's see who else. This is, and actually, feel free, folks, to put in the chat also, assist me. I see Irvine Mayor Farrakhan. Thank you for being here. Honorable Mayor from Daly City, Jocelyn Manalo. City Commissioner Carmelita Lampino, City of Cerritos. Our Honorable Mayor Pro Tem from the City of Artesia, Melissa Ramoso. Honorable Council Member from the City of Garden Grove, Deidre Tuha Nguyen. Honorable Council Member Frank Aurelio Yokoyama, City of Cerritos. Okay. I believe I saw Honorable Mayor from Ohio, Ron Falcone. Okay. Please bear with me since I'm wearing my contacts right now, and so I can't read this 7-point font. I see former councilman from the city of West Covina, the Honorable James Toma. The Honorable Public Works Commissioner from the City of LA, the Honorable Jessica Caloza. Okay. Longtime chair of the Kern County Housing Authority, Brother Max Becerra. Okay. And let me go to the chat.
I see Josh Price from Arkansas, the election commissioner.
Yes, awesome. The Honorable Gabriel Quinto, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of El Cerrito. The Honorable Mike Fong from the Los Angeles Community College District. The Honorable Dr. Rod Daus Magbual from the City of Daly City. Okay. Commissioner, California Commission on Asian Pacific Islander American Affairs, Syrian Via Vincencio. Commissioner from Cook County, Social Innovation Commissioner, Sister Jerry Aglipai. The chair of the Filipino American Democratic Caucus, the California Democratic Party, Sister Nicole Villaruz. President of the Vallejo Unified School District, the Honorable Tony Ubalde. From the Los Angeles Superior Court, the Honorable Bryant Yang. Christine Custodio Suero, Commissioner and Chair of the City of San Diego Citizens Equal Opportunity Commission. Jocelyn Gaga Rosenthal, Commissioner of the LA Building and Safety. Susanna Reyes, LADWP Vice President of the Board of Commissioners. Abigail Zelinsky, Commissioner of the Los Angeles Civil and Human Rights Commission. Oh, I love this. The Most Honorable Mama, Cynthia Bonta. All right, folks, we'll continue to recognize folks, but we'll go ahead and move along with the program, and just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining in today. Let's see here. At this time, I'd like to give it back to Genevieve to give thanks to all the individuals, organizations, and community groups that assisted in the push for the appointment of Brother Rob. Genevieve?
Thanks, Brother Mark. You know, being on the ground in Sacramento, I would hear the whispers of who the top candidates were. We like to ask around lobbyists, strategists. And of course, we all know that Rob was always on the short list with his education, skills, and experience. Although one of the things that I heard, which kind of bothered me, was a comment that we kept hearing that Rob wasn't going to get it because he was over campaigning, that was going to hurt him. And I think that people didn't have any reason to criticize him, so they made up the over campaigning. But look at where we are today. One of the things that I'm very, very proud of our group is that we coalesced, we left our egos at the door, and we made Rob and his nomination a priority to get to this historic day today. So I'd like to take this time to acknowledge and thank the organizations and the individuals who over campaign, something that we should be very proud of and should not be ashamed of, to help towards Rob's nomination and confirmation. The National Filipino American Laws Association, Filipino American Lawyers of San Diego, Filipino American Lawyers Association, Silicon Valley, Monterey, Filipino Bar Association, Northern California, Filipino American Lawyers of Orange County, Filipino American Bar Association, Sacramento Filipino American Lawyers Association, California Asian Pacific Asian Bar Association, Filipino Community of Sacramento and Vicinity, Filipino National Day Association, Sacramento, Chief Justice Tane Gore Cantil Sakaue, former Lieutenant Governor Mona Pasquil Rogers, Nicole Villaruz of the Filipino American Caucus Democratic Party, Rob Chua, Northern Vice Chair of the Phil Dem Caucus of the California Democratic Party, the Honorable Jessica Colosa, immediate past president of the Filipino American Los Angeles Democrats. The Filipino American Los Angeles Democrats is an organization. Filipino American Democratic Club of San Mateo County, Jenny Bach, James Lau, Ron Wong of the Asian Pacific American Leadership Foundation, Tita Sonia Dallin, Board of Trustees, State Bar of California, Ate Lillian Galedo, Filipino Advocates for Justice, David Mesa of Enfala, Marilee Mandahar, the Filipino Women's Network, Al Perez of the Filipino Community Forum and Bistahan, the Bulasan Center at UC Davis, Lead Filipino out of the South Bay, San Jose, Little Manila Rising out of Stockton. And going into the elected officials, I'll go ahead and start off by mentioning my co-MC, Honorable Mark Pulido, who will go ahead and announce the elected officials that helped in this effort.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Jen. Since 2015, a core group of folks have been working with Brother Rob across the country, including our late brother Joe Montano and folks from Kaya, to build the National Association of Filipino American Elected Officials. Further, Rob has inspired more PhilAms and AAPIs to pursue public service over the years. That is why it was a no-brainer for so many PhilAm elected officials to declare their public endorsement for Rob's appointment as our next Attorney General. And among those to thank for their early push last December in the middle of the holiday season include the Honorable Frank Aurelio Yokoyama, Council Member, City of Cerritos, the Honorable Eric Arias, Council Member, City of Bakersfield, the Honorable Rochelle Arzmendi, Mayor of the City of Sierra Madre, the Honorable Pamela Bulahan, Vice Mayor of the City of Ileton, the Honorable Raymond A. Buenaventura, Council Member, City of Daly City, the Honorable Christopher L. Cabaldon, Mayor, City of West Sacramento, retired, Honorable Antonio Tony Cartagena, Mayor, City of Walnut, retired, Honorable Dr. Rod Daos Magbual, Vice Mayor, City of Daly City, the Honorable Pat D. Gacoscos, Vice Mayor, City of Union City, Honorable Mike P. Gingona, Mayor, City of Daly City, retired, Mayor, Honorable Jed Liano, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Claremont, Honorable Dr. Victor Manalo, Mayor of City of Artesia, retired, the Honorable Henry C. Manayan, Mayor, City of Milpitas, retired, Honorable Zaidal Paras Karachi, Council Member, City of Duarte, Honorable Gabriel Quinto, Mayor Pro Tem, the City of El Cerrito, the Honorable Armin Reyes, Board President, ABC Unified School District, retired, the Honorable Sonny Santinez, Council Member, City of Bellflower, the Honorable Elito M. Santorina, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Carson, retired, and the Honorable Thomas Ahero Small, Mayor of City of Culver City, retired. Again, I want to say thank you to all of those who have chosen to serve in public office, whether as an appointee or as an elected official. We appreciate all of your service to the community and to our great state and our nation. And again, thank you to Rob for continuing to inspire us and future generations of aspiring public servants. At this time, we will hear from a number of community speakers. And our first community speaker that I have the honor of introducing has known Brother Rob since he was a young boy growing up in the 1970s. Emil de Guzman is an American-born Filipino who was raised in San Francisco. In 1969, he was a student who joined the Third World Strike to fight and win an ethnic studies department at UC Berkeley. He is a founding member of Asian American Studies and served on the faculty teaching community organizing. He became a volunteer and president of the International Hotel Tenants Association to stop eviction from 1969 to 1977. Subsequently, in 1994, he rejoined community-based organizations in government to build the new 15-story high-rise International Hotel for Senior Housing and the Manila Town Center that opened in August of 2005. He is a graduate of the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University, and Emil is retired and lives with his family in San Francisco. Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, please give a warm welcome for Emil de Guzman. Emil?
Hi, thank you, Mark. And congratulations to Rob Bonta. You earned the job and we're very proud of you. It's amazing to speak to a live audience, to hundreds of people, and I'm the only person in the room. It's amazing. I want to tell you a story about a family in Berkeley, California, who had just arrived from Delano, working with United Farm Workers. A family where there were 3 small children. The mother had a meeting one night and requested a volunteer to watch over her kids. She was an activist who was involved in organizing with others and the only time that they could get together was after work in the evening. The 3 children were unhappy with a stranger in their house. The eldest organized his brother and sisters to throw their toys at the stranger, hoping he would give up and leave. But the stranger stayed after the attack. He was bruised, but fine. Well, you guessed it, the ringleader was Rob Bonta, and I was that volunteer. The rebellious streak and tenacity at that core of Rob then is at the core of his persona today. I was not the only stranger doing childcare. There were many others who watched over the Bonta kids. We were all learned to cherish them like our children. Our organization, the KDP, the Union of Democratic Filipinos, provided childcare for parents so that they could attend their meetings at night, so that they could organize. They were the uncles, the aunties, the lolas, and the lolos. And yet we had other lives as labor organizers, as student organizers, as housing organizers, as teachers, as health workers, immigrant rights organizers, organizers against martial law in the Philippines. Our work was organizing in the Filipino community to build community power. And we passed on many stories to our children, like Rob and his brother and sister. Rob's life intersected with many activists growing up by marches, attending rallies, watching, listening, observing a powerful movement of people changing the world. It's no surprise that Rob chose to be a lawyer because he found his calling to fight for justice and serve humanity. Back in the 1990s, I asked Rob to join the Manila Town Heritage Foundation board. We were building a new international hotel for senior citizens on the same spot as the old International Hotel, which was torn down in 1979. As a young lawyer, married with his wife, Mia, and a young child, he accepted the challenge of joining our board. He was active in many turning points. When the tenants, he was active in many turning points as we negotiated the space to build our Manila Town Center. And although he was not around, the tenants, when they were alive in the 70s, he walked shoulder to shoulder with the veterans, us, in the first struggle. He honored the elderly tenants through his diligent, working hard in all facets to get the building up. And the reality of Manila Town Center that enshrines the history and the legacy of our beloved tenants. My parting shot is this. As Filipinos, we have a proud past and history. The tradition back to the days of Lapu-Lapu, Jose Rizal, Andres Bonifacio, Tandang Sora, Gabriela, Carlos Bolasan, Chris Mansalvas, Ernesto Manawang, Lariat Leong, Philip Veracruz, Royal Morales, Jean Viernes, Selmy Domingo, Cynthia Maglaya, Marge Talogan, Alice Bulos, Don Mabalan, Steve Arevalo. They were all outstanding leaders. They were all cut their teeth as organizers by bringing Filipinos together that resulted in the changes that led toward justice and liberation and freedom and unions for our people. Second, organization is power. Power through organization can force changes. Leading an attorney general for the state of California can make sweeping changes. Power happens when building a movement from the ground up, grassroots organizing, coalition building. We know this through numerous examples like the United Farm Workers, like the People's Power Movement, and for democracy in the Philippines and the International Hotel for Victory. So congratulations, Rob. We know you are entering an arena where the terrain is rough and the adversaries are very powerful and even dangerous. We are with you because we know you can do the job. We will help you in every step of the way toward your success as the Attorney General for the state of California. Veritas.
Thank you, Brother Emil. Next, we'll hear from Daly City Council member, Brother Ray Buenaventura, who has been very instrumental in organizing the Filipino American Association of Elected and Appointed Officials. Brother Ray.
Thank you, Brother Mark. It's a really great day for us here in the community. It's a great, man, it's just a good feeling to be Filipino today. And Rob, I mean, look what you've done. I mean, you have put us on the map, and look at all the people that have showed up to support you, and they're here. It's because of you and all the great work that you've done, and we're sure you're going to continue to do. Rob, you probably don't remember this, but I actually remember the first time that I met you. And it was actually at a Kaya event years ago, and that's what Genevieve was talking about. Kaya was organizing their own set of people to march at the Pistahan Parade in San Francisco as part of Filipinos for Obama. And so I took orders from the likes of Dexter and Genevieve at that time. And so as part of the parade contingency, I had this motorcycle with a sidecar, and I was to drive down the parade route with it. Well, I was assigned the task to pick you up, to pick up this young candidate who Kaya was supporting for the Alameda City Council. So I got my directions. I got to pick you up somewhere in San Francisco, and my orders were to bring you to the parade. And so that was the moment I met you, and you rode shotgun in my motorcycle, and that's started what was years of friendship between you and I. I knew then that you would amount to something very special. Kaya saw that in you. I saw it firsthand in just talking to you. And from winning your council seat to becoming the vice mayor of Alameda to going on to the assembly, you have really worked hard, and this story had to be told. And it's not going to end. We think you are going to do great things. And despite all your successes, Rob, you still always showed up everywhere. From continuing to support Kaya, to the Filipino Bar Association FBank events, to the Philam Caucus events, to more recently on your efforts to organize the Filipino American elected and appointed officials. You've also amassed an impressive array of bills and accomplishments, from bail reform to ethnic studies. We are so very proud of you as our Attorney General. We cannot wait to see what you're going to do in this position, and remember that we will always have your back. Rob, you're a good man. You have good intentions and the power of the people behind you. We will be with you now in your re-election in 2022 and everything else beyond. Congratulations, Attorney General Rob Bonta. Thank you for all that you've done and continue to do to our great community. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ray. And if anyone has the pleasure to door knock with Brother Ray in his RV, it's he's no joke. He's no joke. And so I think, Ray, we should give you credit as well as one of the pillars in the Filipino elected community. Your endorsement and support goes a long way with those that come ahead of you. So thank you. Our next speaker represents an organization that was one of the first to launch the nominating organization efforts, a National Filipino American Lawyers Association. So to speak on their behalf, representing them is Mr. David Mesa.
Hi, everybody. My name is David Mesa. I'm a past president of the National Filipino American Lawyers Association and a past president of the Filipino Bar Association of Northern California. And Rob, thanks for having me, and congratulations, brother. You really never cease to amaze us. You continue breaking down barriers. You continue blazing the trail for the Filipino American legal community. And on behalf of INFALA, on behalf of INFALA's 6 California regional affiliates, including FBank, our home affiliate, PABA, FLOC, SACFALA, FALA Silicon Valley, Monterey, and Fallsday, we wanted to congratulate you on this truly historic accomplishment. We're not surprised, though. Back in November, we hoped and predicted this day would happen when we learned that Senator Harris would be heading to the White House. And back in November, we were getting ready. And exactly one day after Becerra was named for HHS secretary, we had a joint letter drafted, finalized, and signed by our 7 organizations and off to Governor Newsom's office, recommending you, Rob, for California Attorney General. We knew back then what Governor Newsom ultimately saw when he selected you for Attorney General, that you were exceptionally well qualified. As a lawyer, you were undefeated as a trial attorney and never lost a jury verdict. As a legislator, you were a standout leader, serving as California's very first Filipino American legislator in the history of our great state. In a state where Filipinos are the largest AAPI group and the 3rd largest minority group, you became the first. You became our voice. And since then, you've earned your title as a national leader in the fight to reform our justice system, to stand up to the forces of hate, and to be the people's lawyer. I didn't know a single Filipino American lawyer growing up, Rob. I met my first Filipino American lawyer as a law student at an FBank event. I am so incredibly proud that my daughter and my son and their classmates now live in a state where the chief legal officer and the chief judicial officer are Filipino American, and they look like them. Rob, we're proud to call you our brother in the law. We are proud to have you as part of our INFALA family. We celebrate having you as our great state's Attorney General. And thank you, Governor Newsom, for appointing Rob. Thank you, Rob, for always being our community champion. We're incredibly excited for what's to come. And from the bottom of my heart, Brother Rob, congratulations.
Thank you, David. Our next speaker's advocacy goes bi-coastal from California to DC and in between. Please welcome immediate past president of Filipino American Los Angeles Democrats, the Honorable Jessica Calosa.
Great. Thank you so much, Jen and Mark, for being our co-MCs today. Jessica Calosa, immediate past president of PALAD. And first, I just want to thank the PALAD board members who are here today, like Tita Jocelyn and so many others, as well as our members and coalition of supporters who really helped us with a grassroots effort to get Rob appointed. There was so much work, blood, sweat, and tears put into all the behind the scenes work, from letter writing to the social media campaign and amplifying certain messages. Everything that you all did made a difference. And one of the things that was so amazing about seeing everybody uplift Rob as really the top contender for the Attorney General position was that it brought together so many people. It wasn't just Filipinos, it wasn't just Asian Americans, it was truly a rainbow coalition across the spectrum of people that want to make sure Rob succeeds. Because as we know, he's not just someone who looks like us, but we know that he's someone who is going to fight for us when he's as he continues his role as Attorney General. And so I want to give a special shout out to some of our partners. One of them is the Fierce Coalition. Go ahead and just raise your hand or give a shout out in the chat, but you know who you are. Even though we are a local LA County Democratic Club, we worked with people across the state to really make sure that our voice was heard, and this is the time that it matters. And so to our Attorney General, congratulations again. We have your back, and we know that this is just the beginning. There is many more things that we will organize around to make sure that you succeed, that we succeed as a community, and we're going to need everyone's help. So we'll send more information in the chat about what that looks like. But thank you all for being here, and what a historic day to celebrate the first Filipino American Attorney General of California, Rob Bonta. And that feels so good to say that out loud. And that lastly, it's so good that Rob finally represents Los Angeles. And we've been waiting for that for a long time. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica. Beautiful. Okay, the next speaker was very instrumental behind the scenes with the digital and PR space through this campaign. His brother, Rob Chua. Rob is the Northern California Vice Chair of the Filipino American Caucus of the California Democratic Party. Rob?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's kind of an emotional day for someone who has been working behind the scenes. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rob Chua, Northern Vice Chair of the Phil-Am-Dem Caucus of the California Democratic Party. We don't really get many opportunities like this in this lifetime, where we get to see such momentous change. And my voice is cracking because I feel so passionate about Rob. We have worked really hard on this to get our first Filipino Attorney General. I was showing my goddaughter around to my old college campus at UC Santa Cruz just last week. And I saw a mural of Larry Itliong. And Rob's, historic work around AB 123, making sure that we're prioritizing learning about each other, each other's cultures, our values, our food, our love, how we show up for each other. Those are the things that we will be remembered by. And I think that is the legacy that Rob will continue to demonstrate as our Attorney General. For the many of you on my teams, this has been a statewide effort. For those of you who were co-leaders in this advocacy work to get Rob elected, Al Perez, Marilee Mondahar, and so many others, Jenny Bach, thank you so much for all of your hard work. Everybody in this room played a role in getting Rob to where he is. And so I do want to echo everything that Jessica said, about working behind the scenes. And I also want to do a special shout out to our governor, Gavin Newsom, for standing by our side and picking the perfect person to lead our justice system. And the work that Rob will do in the justice system will reverberate for generations to come. And I'm so excited and uplifted in a world that seems so dark that we have a sliver of brightness and a day to celebrate with our brother, Rob Bonta. So I just want to say thank you again, and thank you for the honor.
Thank you, Brother Rob. Our next speaker is a strong Pinay leader as an elected official, longtime legislative staffer, and Democratic Party leader, having served 12 years with the California Democratic Party as chair of both the API and Phil-Am Democratic caucuses. Sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our sister, the Honorable Melissa Ramoso, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Artesia. Melissa?
Thank you so much, Brother Honorable Mark Pulido. Thank you everyone for being here. This is an exciting time to be here. So mabuhay, happy Sunday. What a way to start Attorney General Rob Bonta's term with a family community celebration. I first knew of Rob because of Honorable Mark Pulido and Genevieve Jopanda. Like Brother Ray Buenaventura said, when he talked about Kaya, when Kaya Filipino Americans for Progress LA was active in 2012, I actually helped organize the phone bank for Rob's assembly race at Cerrito Council member Frank Aurelio Yokoyama's real estate office in Cerritos. We had folks like my family, the community come together and phone bank, and they've never phone banked before. And we just knew that we need to get our brother Rob into office and help him rise, and look where he is now. When you needed help, Rob was there. And when Rob needed help, the community was there. And recently in my work life, I had helped a recent immigrated teacher from the Philippines. So after diving into her situation, I realized I needed assistance of the AG's office. And long story short, the AG's office was able to help. And the office was so professional and helpful to help change your life. So AG Bonta, you inherited a magnificent team, and can't wait to see that awesome things you will do in this new position. So I'm also here on behalf of the California Democratic Party, Asian Pacific Islander Caucus, as state chair. The evening we were hearing whispers that you were going to be announced as Attorney General, the entire board was so elated and got our press release ready and sent it the minute we heard the news. So Mr. Attorney General, on behalf of the entire California Democratic Party, Asian Pacific Islander Caucus, and the executive board, and I see many of my executive board members and members here. Thank you for being a lifetime member, and congratulations on being appointed as our new Attorney General. We are so very excited you will be at the helm as our new Attorney General. US AG comes at an important time for the AAPI community, and we look forward to your tenure in office. We know you will be continuing to put our community at the forefront and help mitigate any further anti-AAPI hate sentiment. So thank you so much, AG Bonta. We're excited for you.
Thank you, Melissa. And also I want to thank Melissa for helping to arrange for a couple of certificates. Though we're in a virtual platform, Brother Rob, this certificate that's, I'm sharing the screen, I don't know if everyone could see that, but is from Nicole Villaruz, the state chair of the Filipino American Democratic Caucus of the California Democratic Party. And this one is signed by the Honorable Melissa Ramoso, state chair of the API caucus of the California Democratic Party. So thank you on behalf of our great state Democratic Party. Okay.
Thank you. Next, we have a video from one of our constitutional officers, a big supporter of the Filipino community. She also authored AB 199, which is implementing the stories of Filipino World War II veterans in her history books. She's a great supporter of our community and also supporter and endorser of candidates and elected officials like Rob Bonta. I remember when we pivoted from the US Senate route to the AG route, he had called me a late Friday evening and said, hey, I want Fiona Ma's endorsement. I said, call her right now. She's in the car, pick up the phone, get her early. And so we have a video message from our California State Treasurer and coincidentally also my boss, Fiona Ma.
Hi, this is Fiona Ma, your California State Treasurer. I have the honor of being the first woman of color and first female CPA to ever serve as the California State Treasurer since 1849. And now we have the honor of having our first Filipino American constitutional officer and the first Filipino and API Attorney General. It would not have happened without all of your hard work, your advocacy, your posts on social media, attending many press conferences, speaking up at rallies, and just encouraging Governor Gavin Newsom to appoint our good friend Rob Bonta as Attorney General. So great work, everyone, for breaking that bamboo ceiling once again. Stay safe and see you all soon.
Thank you. And as we're winding down to our speakers, we have a couple special people. This next person is extremely special because she has known Rob longer than anyone else in this event. So his mother, Cynthia, came to the States for the first time in July 1965 for postgraduate studies at Pacific School of Religion as an ecumenical scholar. She quickly learned and involved herself with the Delano grape strike that September. Experiencing the civil rights movement in Berkeley changed the trajectory of her life forever. Her life experiences with farm worker struggles, restoring democracy and independence in the Philippines, researching, writing, and teaching Filipino history and experience in California from the 20s and 30s inform her social justice work and mentoring of youth to this day. She is particularly proud of the youth leadership, development, and empowerment work of the Filipino National Day Association in Sacramento, which she helped start in 1990. She was happy to retire from an 8-to-5 job to be a full-time activist, mother and grandma, community organizer, and movement elder. Please welcome Rob Bonta's biggest cheerleader, his mother, Auntie Cynthia Bonta.
Thank you, Genevieve. You know, you're the only one that calls me Cynthia, and that makes you outstanding in my mind. I love that. You know, I guess you wanted the mother's perspective in all this. But first, I want to thank you and Mark for your role in empowering the Filipino community and organizing us to understand what it is to be a participant in a democracy. Thank you so much. You know, this is a celebration for Rob, but I think we should also celebrate the power that the community so obviously is showing. As I listen to all these congratulatory remarks from wonderful community leaders and elected officials, you know, I'm very proud that our community is so powerful. Did you know that? You are showing that. And that's what we've always wanted. And that's what we've been working for. And it's showing very hopeful signs. And we have to keep on doing that among us and in coalition with all the communities of color. This is the time. And we can make a great contribution towards that. So really, I want to start by really saying thank you for all the community support that you've given Rob. You know, no one can ever do anything by themselves. We always need each other. If we gain something, if we are successful, it cannot be a very individual and personal success. It has to be shared because there are many who have contributed towards that, especially in the case of Rob. Since you've wanted a mother's perspective, it looks like that you want this to be a very personal thing and almost sharing private things. So I really see this as a family gathering. You know, our family, our nuclear family has not really expanded. I mean, we haven't brought in relatives from the Philippines like most of you know, so that you are several generations of family in the United States, and you know, you belong to a big family. For us, with Rob and our family, really the community is our family. You are our family. So I look at this event, this occasion, as family celebration where we can share um, personal things and personal anecdotes about Rob. Um, so here we go. You know, Rob was one who knew exactly what he wanted to do early on. You know, I wasn't like that. I didn't know what I wanted to be because I was so interested in many things. And I think a lot of us are that way. But Rob, you won't believe it. But early on, he already had some specific ideas about what he wanted to be and do. When he was only second grade, he organized his gang, you know, his best friends. And he said, well, Mom, my gang is called X Gang. Oh my goodness, you know, I was worried about that. I said, was I not disciplined about what TV shows he watches? I don't want him to watch violent movies. But I said, okay, X gang, oh, sounds good. What does that mean? And then said, X for excellent, Mom. It's X for excellent. So already as a 2 year, second grader, he knew his goal was to be excellent. Um, and then on to fourth grade, he put together he gathered his friends again, and they had to be all good students. They were all bright. They were actually competing against each other, but they were still friends. They belonged to the same gang. And one wanted to be the richest man he could be. The other one wanted to be a doctor. And Rob wanted to be a lawyer. He already wanted to be a lawyer in fourth grade. And he said, yeah, I'm going to Harvard. Of course, he never went to Harvard. He chose Yale instead. And that was because he liked the atmosphere at Yale better. I think maybe Harvard was too elitist, you know, for him. So he ended up at Yale. And when he was at Yale, he never failed to call me at least once a week. And I think, you know, when he says that he want, you know, as AG, he wants his family and his community and his state to be proud of him, you know, he's serious about that because he always wanted me and his family to be proud of him. And every week he would call me and there was something to be happy about because he would share something good, something that I would be proud of. So one of the first calls I got was, well, Mom, I got a job. I am an escort in the evening, you know, at the late hours when security is important. I am escorting students from the library to their homes across campus for safety. So that was one of his first jobs. And I was very proud of that because he already got introduced to the importance of safety and security, especially for women. Then the next week, the next news was, well, you know, I got a job in the laundry rooms. You know, I can clean the rooms and I can have extra money for that. And you know what? That ended up with him managing the whole student-run laundry business. And it was during his management that it made the highest profit. So I think Rob knew early on what it was to be a working class person. You know, he had to work hard, even if he was at Yale, um, for his money. And if he was to earn money, he wanted everyone else who belonged to that business to profit and to prosper. So then that's one thing. I don't know how many stories I can tell you. But the next thing was he told me, "Oh, Mom, I'm writing a story on the Filipino American War for the Yale Banner." And you know, I'm having to rewrite it so many times. I think I'm learning how to write more than I ever have. But you know, I was so happy that he was using his writing skills to rewrite history that was part of our hidden history, that was distorted and inaccurate, and wanted to make history right, making something wrong right. And when he says that he will be there as an AG to right many wrongs, many historic wrongs, and many systemic wrongs, then he has done it already, and he knows what he's talking about. Then there was another report. I was so proud. He actually had to learn Spanish fluently in college so that he could tutor Spanish-speaking kids in the neighborhoods of New Haven. Did you know that New Haven, where Yale is the sixth poorest city rather in the country? So there are a lot of poor people, and he founded his own nonprofit to tutor Spanish-speaking poor kids. And can you imagine? He got his fluency in Spanish to be able to do that. And because of that, he got an award for public service. And these are all signs of where he was going and what he intended to do in his life. Well, you know, one thing about Rob's leadership is that even if he's in legislature, it takes some organizing, you know? He is an organizer too, like many of us. He has to organize his support for bills. And if he doesn't get his bill passed, he organizes again. And because he organizes more people, he wants that bill to be improved to demand more. And that was what happened for the bill to make it, to close down private prisons and detention camps. That failed once, and then the second time, with more organizing, it won, and he got more for it. So, you know, that says something. He knows how to dirty his hands. He knows that working in high offices means knowing how to dirty your hands and work hard. Well, when he did win the state assembly, one thing about Rob is he knows who he is. He knows his ethnicity. He knows the importance of community. He knows that he is doing this for his community, that this is not anything personal. This is community. And that's why his first bill was AB 123. And it was to give recognition to Filipino American role in the labor farm worker labor movement in California. So really, again, I was just really moved when he planned his response to the appointment to AG by the governor. And I was just so moved at the intentionality of his plan. He wanted the site to be the Manila Town Heritage Foundation, the International Hotel, because that brings Filipino history and community with him. This is not just his honor. He wants to bring his community and his history and his heritage with him. And I think that we feel that. I always try to say that to the people I mentor. And I don't know if I really am able to tell them in clear, understandable ways that what we need are leaders who know who they are and will say they are Filipino or whoever they are. If they don't, their whole community will not be carried along with them. So we have to be proud who we are and to declare it publicly. And whatever our one contribution to our people is whatever we do to make a contribution to the broader community. So, Rob, you have brought honor and power to your family. We are proud of you. Your community, the Filipino American community, the Asian American community, and all progressive Californians. Thank you for your hard work and your vision for all of us. And I am so happy to hear all this support from our brothers and sisters, our family, our Filipino American family. I think we have to celebrate you and our community together. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manang Cynthia. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. It's more than we could ever imagined. Such personal message, testimony, such a heartfelt message from Rob's mom. Folks, this is really what it's all about. It's about our family, our community coming together. And I just have to say, I felt like I was at the kitchen table, or I was in the family room, just really reflecting upon this moment with Manang Cynthia. And we are also ever grateful. So thank you for gracing this beautiful event. And it's not lost on me that we aren't just talking to our community here within the state of California, but I just really wanted to share with you as I look over the list of participants, and we are 220 strong now, that we have folks from all across the nation, from Hawaii all the way to Washington, D.C. We have representatives from Hawaii, Illinois, Ohio, Arkansas, Virginia, Maryland, and even all the way to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. So Brother Ben out there had mentioned to me that, for each of Rob's races, the DC community, Maryland, Virginia, DC community really came together in support for raising funds and, helping to campaign for Brother Rob. And so know that this is really a national celebration in scope. Though Rob will be serving the folks of California, he truly is having a national, and I would even say global, impact on our people. So I just wanted to state that. And I have the honor of now introducing a talented person, Julian de Guzman, who will sing for us that classic, Dahil Sa'yo. It is in our culture to see beyond just the romance of love songs, to go further in finding maybe the political meaning in them, the deeper meaning, as in the song Ang Bayan Ko. During national suppression in the Commonwealth period, this song was not a mere romantic love song for a country, but a love for freedom and liberation from oppression from foreign powers, and kept the spirit of self-determination alive. Julian is going to sing a song that I think today will have even deeper meaning, Dahil Sa'yo. And a little bit about Julian. Julian is an actor, singer, choreographer, producer. Julian has performed internationally and on Broadway in various theatrical productions, including Newsies, Miss Saigon, and Hello Dolly. Julian is currently a first-year master's candidate in the Department of Asian American Studies at San Francisco State University's College of Ethnic Studies. Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, please welcome Julian de Guzman.
Sa buhay ko'y labis ang hirap at pasakit ng pusong umiibig, mandiwala ng langit. At nang lumigaya, hinango mo sa dusa, aking ikaw sinta, ang aking pag-asa. Dahil sa'yo, nais kong mabuhay. Dahil sa'yo, hanggang mamatay, dapat mong tantuin, wala nang ibang giliw, puso ko'y tanungin, ikaw at ikaw rin. Dahil sa'yo, ako'y lumigaya, pagmamahal ay alayan ka. Kung tunay man ako, ay alipinin mo ang lahat sa buhay ko. Dahil sa'yo, Thank you. Congratulations, AG Rob Bonta.
Thank you so much, brother. And ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, the moment we've been all waiting for, it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce the man of the hour, our brother, the first ever community, for this first ever community event celebrating him as the first Filipino constitutional officer in the history of California. Please welcome our Attorney General, Rob Bonta.
Woo, thank you so much for all those incredible words, the spirit, the energy, the love that I'm feeling through the computer here on Zoom, and the thoughtful and just overly generous and kind words mean so much to me. So I just want to say I'm so thrilled and thankful to be in the space with you. I feel the love. I love you back. And you know, this is the first thing I asked to do after I heard about the appointment. I said, Viviana, who many of you know, my chief of staff, can you please reach out to all the incredible Filipino American community leaders that have supported me and believed in me and fought for me since day one. And, you know, we did this together, and I want to celebrate with them and tell them how much I'm thankful for their friendship, for their partnership, and for their faith in me, and for all the incredible work. So for me, this is just an opportunity to say thank you to all of you. I'm someone who remembers who was there at the beginning, and you guys were there at the beginning. You know, pushing me and making me believe I could do things that I didn't think I could do myself, and, you know, lifting me up and pushing me forward and fighting for me along the way. So I want to say thank you for all of that. I know there was a lot of work that went into this over campaign. And, you know, so many of you made phone calls, you sent texts, you wrote letters, you had press conferences. Many of you spent a lot of your days tweeting and retweeting. So hopefully you got some time back in your lives now that I'm not asking you to retweet all the time. But we did it together, and it took all of us to do it. And we did it as a team. This is a collective accomplishment and victory. And I know that, and I appreciate that. And I'm so thankful for that. So this is my opportunity to say, thank you to all of you. And, you know, there were so many of you who wouldn't just, whenever there was a call for action, say yes, you would do it and then respond, what else can I do? What else can I do? It was like, I felt there were so many people just chomping at the bit, ready to do anything to make this happen. So it's special for me. I hope it's special for all of you, you know, from nomination to confirmation to swearing in last Friday. I'm still getting used to the new title. I almost called myself Assemblymember earlier today. And, but whatever my official title is, as I've said before, my most important title is always going to be dad and husband and son to Cynthia, of course. And so let me just say thank you for that, and for always grounding me. And I'll need that going forward as well. There's getting the job, and then there's doing the job. And I want to do the job well. I want to, you know, make Californians proud. I want to make the Filipino American community proud. So I believe that we co-created this outcome together, and that's what we're going to need to keep doing in as I take the official role. You know, co-create solutions, work together, collaborate, and that's going to be absolutely critical. So and look, like you know, as my mom rightfully recognized, this is a testament to our growing power. We are strong. We can accomplish huge things. We can lift the heaviest of weights and break through the most staunch of barriers when we come together. And so I want us to see and know our power, to be proud of it, to wield it thoughtfully, but to wield it, and to know that every room and hallway of power that there is in California, in the nation, we belong there, and we deserve representation there, and we can, and we should, and we will be there. So I want us to know that I feel strong in this moment because of you. I think we should all feel strong because of our shared power that we've created together. And let me say some specific thank yous to Brother Mark, who has advised and counseled and inspired me with his wisdom. Sister Genevieve, thank you for always being there. Thank you for that tip to call Fiona that Friday night. And now maybe 4 months in the rearview mirror. Tito Emil, thank you for your very inspirational words, for inviting me to, allowing me to be part of the Middletown Heritage Foundation and the incredible work and history that meant for our community. And thank you for reminding us of our incredible leaders in your words today, and our history. Sister Fiona, always been there, just so loyal and so strong and so immovable as a friend and a supporter. I just want to say thank you to her, and I really appreciated her remarks today. Brother Ray, I remember that first time we met. I'll ride shotgun with you anytime, just as long as you don't take photos of me in the motorcycle. Oh my God, David Mesa, man, you've been such a strong supporter, cheering me on, and the Go Rob Go is it always made me do another couple hours of work that night. So I appreciate you so much. Jessica, I'm honored to represent Los Angeles now in this new role, and thank you for all your support from LA for so long, even when I didn't represent LA. Always so appreciate your friendship. Rob, Chua, thank you for your kind words, all your support in this journey, and Melissa Ramoso for your leadership, your friendship over many, many years. The list goes on. I won't be able to name everyone. I do want to say a special shout out to Sister Mona Pasquille, someone I've admired for so long, who's fought for our community and represented us so well, set the standard that we've all tried to meet. So thank you, Mona. And Luis Alejo, who I got to serve with, who I think I told him, I never want to be in a fight when you're on the other side. I always want you on my team because this guy fights and never stops. And so Brother Luis, I just want to say thank you. It was an honor to serve with you, and I appreciated your support during this effort. But so many more. I'm not gonna be able to name everybody, but everyone on this in this community celebration, we all share responsibility and credit for what we've accomplished. This is when I was elected to the State Assembly. I've always described it as a barrier that our community broke together. And this is the same. This is us rising up, fighting for each other, fighting for our community, and breaking barriers, and more to come. Mom, thank you for those stories. I wasn't sure about where some of those were going. That escort part was getting me nervous, but thanks for clarifying the actual role. That was outstanding. Thanks for reminding me about the X Club. Maybe I should restart that and take some applications. The story about becoming an attorney, I thought it was because all I could do was argue, and I was worried about not being able to have a job, so I wanted to be an attorney. And you didn't share my secret weapon in learning Spanish. I had Mia, who started with doing my homework and getting me A's and getting me off on the right foot, and then making sure I was prepared when I had to pass the final exam. You didn't tell the story, Mom. I don't know if you remember this one, of when I was a little boy, I had a dinosaur book that you and Dad gave me, and you asked me what I wanted to be when I grow up. And I said I wanted to be a dinosaur. And ambitious, I thought big, I thought out of the box, but maybe not too bright. But of course, my mom said, of course you can be a dinosaur, because she always supported me, and whatever I wanted to do, she was going to have my back. So maybe being Attorney General is a good second place to being a dinosaur.
I think so. You made your dream, babe. You did. I was about to actually tell that story, but I'm glad you did.
I think it just signified dreaming big and being whatever you wanted. And so here's to everyone being able to be their own dinosaur. One of the things I wanted to share is that sometimes, especially for the API community, sometimes within the API community, we hear from each other, or sometimes we hear from others. You're the leaders of tomorrow, but you're not the leaders of today. It's not your turn yet. Be patient, wait your turn, don't rock the boat. We've heard that too often, too many times. And I want us to know that we are the leaders of tomorrow for sure, but we're the leaders of today. And our time is now, and we will and shall continue and are taking our rightful power and our rightful seats in positions of influence. And we need to keep doing that. And this is an example of us being able to do anything we want when we set our minds to it and fight for each other and lift each other up. So I just want to thank you for that, and also put it in its context of securing and owning the power that we have. And I appreciate, again, the reflections on our history. I think it's always important to remember our manongs, those who led, our pioneers, the stories that we haven't heard enough about, the ones that inspire, that we tell those more, of our Larrys and our Phillips and our AWOCs and our Delano Grape Strikes and the International Hotel. You know, it was so important to me, and I was so appreciative of the governor being able to have the nomination be announced there, because that stood for us, for our community, for our fight, for our activism, for our leadership, for our commitment to justice. Also certainly personal to me, because my mom was there, 44 years before, linking arms with others to prevent the eviction of our manongs who lived inside. And that full circle was very special to me. But our history we should continue to tell it and continue to allow it to inspire what we do next and how we fight. And so as I start this new chapter in the job, as David said, and I've said before, I want to be, and I'm committed to being, the people's attorney. There's a lot of different ways to describe the many things, nuanced and complicated and sophisticated, that the Attorney General does. But I think the way, in simplest terms, that I see the job is, it's helping protect and defend the little guy against the abuse of power and overreach of power by the big guy. And that's the job, to see the most disadvantaged, the vulnerable, the voiceless, the forgotten, the cast aside, and to be their champion and to fight for them. And that's what so many of us have done over the years. That's what my mom and my father did and taught me to do, whether it's taking on big corporations who cheat families, or polluters who are hurting communities, or protecting those who are hurt by the criminal justice system, or those who are being attacked by the forces of hate. It's the job of the Attorney General to be there for them and to be their champion and to fight for them. So that's how I see it. And I always see service as not a set of policies or budgets that we pass as a set of numbers, but it's always about people, uplifting people, supporting people, seeing people. Politics, people call it many things. To me, it's the art of making people's lives better. And the more influence you have, the more power you have in your position, the more capacity you have to make people's lives better. And so that's why I'm so excited about this role, to be able to fight for Californians in this new role statewide, with all of the levers of influence and tools of authority that the job has, can really move the needle to transform people's lives. So that's my intention. That's my commitment. That's what I want to do. And I know that you'll help me do that, because I want to be a good AG, and I think you all can and will make me a good AG with your support, your inspiration, your ideas, your collaboration and co-creation of solutions. So I invite that. We're off on a new adventure together. I can't wait to see what happens next. But I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for your love over many years. The reflections back from being babysat by Emil. Sorry, Tito Emil, for jumping all over, for attacking you as you described, and jumping off the couches and having more energy than any one child should really have. But I've tried to harness that energy. When you guys all supported me, it made me want to work harder. It inspired me to fight harder and do more along this road. And that inspiration will continue as I actually take on the new role. So I hope you will see, as I see, that you're beside me and with me, and that we're going on this journey together. And I'm going to do everything I can, as I said, to make you proud. So salamat po. Appreciate you all so much and love you all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, brother. Would you be open to taking some questions? We have about 210 folks, 200, yeah. And maybe if folks could put in the chat some questions, and feel free to go ahead and take a look at the chat and pick which ones that you want to answer. I do have one that was submitted early on. I'll go ahead and read it if you're cool with that. Okay. This question comes up from Sister Rose Ibanez from great city of Carson. The question is, based on my work with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Community Partnership Program and the LA County's Community Development Commission Housing Authority County of Los Angeles Crime and Safety Unit, we worked on numerous community policing programs and feel they were beneficial to law enforcement and the communities and neighborhoods funded under President Clinton's administration. Will you bring the programs back as part of reforming the police departments?
That's a great example of having a shared commitment to an outcome and a value, and addressing an unacceptable part of our current system and working together on it. I'd love to learn more about what that looks like and how to bring it back and the improvements it will make. I basically feel our criminal justice system is fundamentally broken in so many places that anytime you can infuse it with more compassion and humanity and justice and safety, we can make it better. And I'm definitely open to best practices that have been used elsewhere. I'm definitely open to bringing in innovative approaches that maybe haven't been used, and using the authority of the AG to help make sure we have a safer and fairer and more just system. So there's really broad tools in the Attorney General's office with respect to the criminal justice system. I've been talking a little bit about those over the last few days for anyone who had the time or willingness to sit through 6 hours of confirmation hearings in the Senate and the Assembly. We talked a lot about police accountability and the role of the AG to investigate officer-involved shootings that lead to the death of an unarmed Californian, the pattern and practice actions that the Attorney General can take that leads to stipulated judgments and consent decrees that change behaviors of law enforcement entities going forward that are more sound, more just, more fair. And so I'm looking forward to using all the tools that I have at my disposal to fix our criminal justice system.
All right, here's a real easy one. This is from Tito Tony Ubalde up in Northern California. He wants to know, how do we address you? The United States Attorney General is addressed general.
Not that, please. Not general. I don't
want to.
Rob is always good. Rob is solid. So that's my name. That's who I am. That's who I'll always be. So I'm great with Rob.
Great. And I think Genevieve wanted to ask about the AG's responsibilities. Jen?
Sure. I have a couple of things. Actually, Rob, in this space, we could call you Rob, but the etiquette in the professional space is if you're in an official meeting with stakeholders, then we will call you Attorney General. So I'm just letting you know, you need to get used to your title. You earned it, okay?
Attorney General is better than general. So I'll take Attorney General. And I tell my family, you guys have to start calling me General, but I'll accept the honorable. And they appropriately roll their eyes and keep me humble as they should be.
Two questions. I think some people may not be in tune to what the Attorney General's responsibilities are. Maybe you could kind of summarize in a bullet point in terms of what policies you oversee, responsibilities. I think it's also fair to mention how many staff you'll be overseeing. I think it's a couple thousand. And then I have a question about environmental protection after you answer that. I'll mention it when you're done with your response.
Sure. So the Attorney General's responsibilities are really vast and broad. And the Department of Justice, which the Attorney General runs, is huge. So the Department of Justice for the state of California is the second biggest Department of Justice in the nation, second to US DOJ. It's about $1 billion budget, 4,500 employees, 1,000 attorneys. So it's huge. And the interesting thing is that almost as an assembly member, I was able to, the way I saw the job, it was like a blank palette, like a blank canvas. You could address any topic you wanted. You can help remove laws that you thought were unfair or unjust and create new ones that you thought made us a better society. And the AG's breadth of subject matter areas is the same in almost every area, from tenants and housing to healthcare to environment to criminal justice reform to consumer protection to human trafficking to elder abuse, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The AG is involved with. It does both civil and criminal work. More of it is civil, and so suing large corporations or polluters or folks who break the law. Basically, the job is to enforce the law, and you can do that through civil tools, suing somebody when they break the law. You could also enforce the law through criminal actions, but it's civil and criminal, and it's every subject matter you can think of. So it's just a very consequential office that you know, it's very it's an awesome responsibility to take on. And you know, I'm honestly still learning all of the details and nuances. I'm getting briefed all the time on, you know, pressing issues, on emerging issues, on the decisions that need to be made. So hope that helps.
Thanks. We have a question from Elaine B. She said that you mentioned environmental protection regarding your role as AG. What initiatives and organizations do you encourage people to engage with?
Initiatives and organizations. You know, I think our sort of warrior organizations in the state are well known, like CLCV, Sierra Club. I mean, important to me is our environmental justice leaders, APEN, SEHA, that really see the impact of the environment on our most vulnerable communities, that stand up for and fight for communities that live at the intersection of poverty and pollution, who are really being hurt, who are really vulnerable and need someone to be their champion. And the Attorney General's office has a Bureau of Environmental Justice that is specifically designed to push back on actions that hurt our the environment for our most vulnerable communities, often communities of color. So just an example of some of the work that the AG's office can do. I think the former Attorney General, now Secretary of Health and Human Services, Becerra, had about 140 lawsuits that, against the Trump administration. The majority of them were environmental, to stand up for our environmental regulations, our goals. When you see in the Constitution the role of the AG, the role includes defending, you know, the state, its people, and its natural resources. So it's a top priority of the Attorney General's office to protect and defend our environment.
All right. We had a question from Julian de Guzman. What do you believe is the first step in your role in addressing anti-Asian violence without hurting our neighbors of other oppressed and marginalized communities?
Such an important question. You know, I think it's really important, first and foremost, for the Attorney General to care, to prioritize, to see our API communities that are being hurt. It's to condemn and denounce it, and to commit to address it. I think one of the most painful things about a lot of the anti-API hate violence has been the belief and the reality that it was too often being swept under the rug, and people didn't care. The lives of those that were being hurt and sometimes taken were not being valued. And so having an Attorney General that really prioritizes addressing hate violence is going to be critical. That's step one. Step two is to take action. And as mentioned and built into that question is the right action. A lot of folks often, I think, kind of knee-jerk go to, we need bigger enhancements. We need longer sentences. We need harsher punishments. I heard one person say, you know, we should give the death penalty to people who commit hate crimes, and that's not where I think we should go. we have some of the longest sentences and strongest punishments, enhancements already on our books. So to me, it's to use the tools that we have in an appropriate way, making sure that local law enforcement knows how to identify and investigate hate crimes, building relationships, stronger relationships between law enforcement and community, so that community will come forward and report hate crimes. It's so underreported right now. A lot of community members don't think that law enforcement will help them, or there's cultural or language barriers. So culturally competent support, in-language support, and then victim-centered support, super important to me. Making sure that victims have what they need to heal, whether it be mental health or trauma or other services, is going to be important. And you know, I had a bill that I introduced that someone else is going to author now, that really uplifted restorative justice approaches to hate crimes, and that was victim-centered, provided services that were culturally competent and in language, made victims more eligible for victims compensation. And I think that's an important area to really flesh out and emphasize.
Rob, just really a follow-up to the issue of anti-Asian violence. I see the question asked in multiple different ways, but Israel Kesson asks, what's your message for the youth who might be watching right now? And Jackie Guevara asks, what do you say, or how do you respond to people who tell you to go back to your country?
Let me take the first question first about our young people. I say to our young people that what I said earlier about us, which is, for young people, sometimes people say with a head pat, you know, you might be a leader someday, but that's someday. And I say, you're not the leaders of tomorrow, you're the leaders of today. And I don't just say it so that you can imagine it, it's happening. When our young people have a climate strike and walk out of school because they don't think adults and those in power are doing enough to address our climate crisis, that is leadership. That is raising the urgency on the need for action. That's seeing our world and the change we need to make and pushing others to make a difference. I see that. You know, there's just the raw power of that is so meaningful to me. Or when young people are marching for our lives and saying, you know, I don't want to have an active gun shooter drill every week. I don't want to fear gun violence in my school. I just want to go to school. I want to learn in safety. And is that too much to ask? Parents, do more. Have universal background checks. You know, have the assault rifle ban. You know, do more. Like that is kids speaking out. And young people are clear-eyed about Black Lives Matter and racial justice. Clear-eyed. There is no doubt. They don't understand what the debate's about. And that is super inspirational, that you can see in the next generation, something that we haven't been able to realize, but that we push for and are part of the change driving it around what racial justice can really look like in this state. So more of that, please, from our young people, because that's changing the world. What do I say to people who say, go back to your country? I say, I'm already in it. I don't understand the question. So, I mean, that's kind of just, that's a little tongue in cheek, but you know, we're always the visitor. We're always the other. We're always the person, the people who don't belong. We're the ones that are allowed and permitted, not who inherently belong. And that's kind of what it's been to be Filipino American and Asian American in this state. And you know, you can't always change minds, but we don't have to accept what's being projected on us. You know, we do belong. We show it. We demonstrate it. We act like it. We remind people. I mean, those folks should be reading and you know, getting up to speed on Asian American history and how we built this country and all the leadership that we've shown. I think that's really important I mean, that question kind of is about fighting ignorance, and, you know, education and learning can help that. Some people don't want to change though. So we gotta just continue on and do us and not be distracted or deterred, and just keep fighting and moving to those areas of power and influence. And then when we have it, so important to me is how you wield your power. wield it with kindness and generosity and with people in mind, and do good things to help people have better lives. And when we do that, people will, always appreciate what we're doing, and know that we belong, and not ask that question again.
I have a question for you. We're speaking about youth, and I think all children and youth are inherently good should they have the right direction, but sometimes they don't have the right environment or the support to lead them in the right direction. One of the programs that hopefully is still around, but I was very impressed with, is Alameda County's Youth Employment Program, which basically finds employers to match with juveniles who have juvenile records to get jobs that they normally wouldn't be able to because of their records. So I just wanted to see, what the nexus to the AG's office is and what your thoughts are in terms of expanding programming for, criminal prevention, especially to youth, providing the right pathways to keep them off the streets.
Yeah, thank you. When it comes to young people, I think we're moving towards this more and more in the state, which I really appreciate, is that we should proceed not with criminalization and punishment, but with support and compassion and programs and services. Everyone's going to make mistakes. I've made mistakes. We all made mistakes. It's not where you start, it's where you finish, and it's how you recover from your mistakes and how you learn. And sometimes people make significant mistakes, but folks shouldn't be judged based on the worst thing they've ever done in their life. And certainly for our children, always deserve a second chance to change their life or turn their life around and to transform. And there's systems and programs that are evidence-based and demonstrated to work. I want to do more around prevention. Our conversation around criminal justice is so much around the punishment, and that's after the crime, right? So, and even when it comes to, so someone's already been hurt or a life's already been taken, and you're just talking about what you do to the person who committed the crime, and that's important because you do need to have accountability. But if you can prevent it in the first place and create, greater safety and greater opportunity for young people and others at the outset by giving them the right support. And everyone's different, people are going to thrive in some environments, but not others. So providing the right support and structure and love so that our young people can succeed is going to be really important. I don't know exactly what those programs for youth are, but I do care deeply about providing pathways for our youth to be successful, because I think every young person does have a pathway where they can just kill it and rock it and crush it and be super successful. I want to help them find it. So I'll get my arms around what that looks like, but I believe in those pathways and that support, and I believe in second chances for our young people.
Rob, why don't we just take a couple more questions? You've been very generous with your time with us, and then we'll go ahead and start wrapping up. But Michael Davis asks the question, to what extent possible will you make sure that diversity is a core value of future staffing in the AG's office?
That's a tough one, not because I'm not 1,000% with you on the commitment to diversity and having a DOJ that looks like California, but because we have a structural legal obstacle to it, and that's Prop 209. So we missed a chance to change that in California with Prop 16, but right now you can't take race into account as a factor for hiring in public office because of Prop 209. So were it my choice, I would not. I was against Prop 209 when it passed. I was for Prop 16, which would have reversed Prop 209 this past 2020 election cycle, but the votes weren't there for the state of California. I do have an opportunity. There are some exempt positions that I get to hire. There's about 4,500 positions in the DOJ. And there's about 22 exempt positions that I get to hire. The rest are mostly civil service and go through a process, take a test. I want that 22 to really look like California. I think representation matters. People don't see themselves as being part of something if they don't see themselves leading that thing. And it's important to me that I have a Department of Justice for all, and I want to be the Attorney General for all that looks like California and reflects California.
Great. And one last question. Looks like a couple people asked it. Joanne Fields from San Diego asked, when will you launch your next campaign to ensure you remain our California Attorney General? And Christina Oriel from Asian Journal also asked the same question, but goes further. How can the community get involved?
Thank you. This is a private Zoom, right? Not a government one. So I know it is. Thank you for that. I've launched it already. I already have committed, I'm deeply honored by, but not here just to serve out the appointed time and then step back and have others run. I'm running for election in 2022. I intend to win. I'm going to do everything that's necessary to win, so I can serve a full term of another 4 years and serve the people of California with this incredible role. So we're raising money. We have the campaign team in place already. The consultants, the fundraiser, everything that you experience campaigners know leads to a successful campaign. And I think Jessica may have put Caloza something in the chat earlier that shows the website where people can sign up to be involved and be supportive. Thanks for that, Jessica.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we are now at the end of our program, and so I'd like to give it back to Genevieve to help us wrap up.
Thanks. I think, as I mentioned earlier when, and Robbie had mentioned too, that critical, that critique of over campaigning, right? As I was talking to Mark organizing, we're prepping for this, I told him when the nomination announcement came out and you said your speech and your family and your mom was there in an iHotel, I was in my office watching during lunchtime and I wept. I wept because I've known you for a long time. I think we've grown up, I think a lot of us have grown up with you in different paths, whether that's administratively, me behind the scene and you, in politics and being the face, but I've also seen your family, Mia, your mom, your children grow. And I think that you having at the iHotel comes full circle, that you have never forgotten where you've come from. Your first piece of legislation was AB 123. And you always remind people how proud you are of your heritage. I do want to share a quick story about my family coming here to America. I'm the first American born. And I remember in your 2012 campaign for Assembly, the first door knocking packet, and the first door I knocked on coincidentally was the house that my parents moved into when they came here from the Philippines, when they reunited my father with my mother and my two older brothers. And I texted my brothers, I said, this house looks really familiar. And it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of crazy how we are all connected and how everything comes together and things happen for a reason. And the other reason why I wept that day when your nomination was because of that critique that we over campaigned. And to me,
what's the number?
Mark has mentioned this, it's a rejection of grassroots, and grassroots has always been a piece of you, a big piece of you, and you've always made that important, and you've always recognized that and acknowledged that, and you've never forgotten that. And so I think the weeping is also just I think a testament to how much grassroots is so important, and that's in your blood, starting with your parents, right? And we can never forget that, and we can never be embarrassed of it. That will always be part of our community and what we're all about. And so, we want to thank you for your time today and all the organizers for this event. We're so very proud of you. We look forward to working with you, but we also want to take the time to thank, the governor. He had a lot of people that he could have chosen from, and that he chose the right person and to do this job, being the top cop in California. And so we want to express our thanks and appreciation to him as well as we celebrate this huge milestone in history. You're always you're not breaking the bamboo ceiling, you're shattering bamboo ceiling. So thank you for doing that. And I'll turn it over to Mark Pulido to see if there's anything else you'd like to close with.
Thank you so much, Jen. Brother Rob, man, I love you so much. And I'm so proud of you. We are all proud of you. And we are with you in solidarity in this moment and going forward. It's been such a humbling experience and an honor to help organize this first virtual community celebration of what I hope will be many celebrations throughout our community and beyond. I wanted to take the opportunity to thank all the folks who worked very swiftly behind the scenes, including of your great staff and your chief of staff, Viviana, and also helping on the technical end, my beautiful wife, Gloria, sister Jessica, brother Nate, brother Jaime, sister Melissa, Manong Emil, and especially your mom, Manang Cynthia. You know, it takes the collective to make things happen, and we learned that from our manos, that great generation. And I just want to go personal, like Jen did also. We were in anticipation of the announcement, but we didn't know that it was going to be at the International Hotel. And I have to say that it really brought me back to when I was 18 years old in my first Filipino American experience class at UCLA, in Uncle Roy's class, Uncle Roy Morales. And he played that documentary, The Fall of the I Hotel. And in the dark, watching that film, seeing how they were evicted and how they were tossed out on the streets of San Francisco. And I saw that beautiful human barricade, arm in arm. I wept as a teenage boy and knew when the lights went up what I needed to do. And when I saw you with the governor making that beautiful historic announcement of your appointment, you really did honor and respect to all of those voiceless, all of those unrepresented, all of the folks who have worked so hard to bring us all to this moment by their lifelong struggles to move us forward, to push our society forward. And I know that you will take that torch and continue to help light the way for generations of organizers and activists and leaders to follow, to keep pushing for progressive change so that we all we could all continue to live life to its fullest as equal human beings in this thing we call life. So thank you once again, Brother Rob, and thank you to our entire beloved community out there. We're doing this virtual, but soon enough, post-pandemic, I look forward to all of us gathering once again safely and continuing to fight and organize for all of our futures. We're going to do something now. We're going to turn off the recording, but this is one of those rare opportunities where you get 200 plus folks together, and we'll call it the typical Filipino after party. So feel free to unmute and engage, use the chat. Let's use this as an organizing opportunity for Brother Rob's forthcoming re-election in 2022, but then also to help be battle ready to defend this governor in this recall attempt. Brother Rob, we are at the ready, to do our part to defeat this recall effort and also to lift you up once again to get you elected as our Attorney General. So with that, I want to say thank you. And Brother Rob, any last thoughts?
Yeah, just that this is so special, and I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful for each of you, and glad we could come together. I know you're all super busy, but you made time out of your very busy days to come together, and none of this would have happened without us. We did this together. So more to come. Let's keep building. Let's keep growing. Let's keep getting stronger. But I just thank all of you. Means the world to me, and I love you guys. Thank you.
Okay. Take care, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording now, and feel free to stick around. Take care.